I was charged with domestic violence in Central Ohio. What should I know? I'm Sean Dominy. I'm a criminal defense lawyer with the Dominy Law Firm in Columbus, Ohio, and this video is going to answer that question. One of the first things you should know is that there are various types of domestic violence and different ways that the offense can be committed. I think of them in two general categories. One is domestic violence by threat, and one is domestic violence by force. So let's talk about the threat part first. If you knowingly cause another person to believe that you will cause them imminent physical harm, that's the threat part of domestic violence. And by doing that, you're committing what is categorized as a 4th degree misdemeanor. And that means you can get up to 30 days in jail, up to a $250 fine, and up to 5 years of probation. Now, the second general category is domestic violence by force. If you knowingly cause or attempt to cause serious physical harm to a family member, then that's domestic violence also, but instead of being a 4th degree misdemeanor, that's categorized as a 1st degree misdemeanor. And that means you can get up to a $1,000 fine, up to 6 months in jail, and up to 5 years of probation. Whatever type of domestic violence charge you're facing, if we represent you, we take the same thorough approach because we know the case is important to you. That approach starts with collecting the facts. We want to know what is the evidence. If we had a trial, who would be the witnesses? What would they say? What other evidence might there be? After collecting the evidence, then we do legal research because we're trying to exclude harmful evidence if we can. And we're also trying to use the rules of criminal procedure and evidence and other legal rules in your favor. The third step is to prepare for trial. The reality is most cases don't go to trial, but we prepare every case like it is going to trial. Number one, in case it does, and number two, because it helps in negotiations. And that's the next step typically, is negotiating with the prosecuting attorney, trying to reach an agreement that you find acceptable. And if we can do that, great, then we'll reach a plea agreement. If we can't, then we'll have a trial and make the prosecution try to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Meanwhile, during that entire process, we're also working on mitigation. And that means presenting evidence to the judge to suggest that he or she should impose a more lenient sentence. Now, Brian Hawkins and I have both handled many domestic violence cases in our career. I've been practicing since 1997, so I've seen my share. But Brian, who's been practicing for a shorter time, has actually handled more domestic violence cases than I have. So whether I represent you or Brian represents you, you'll be in good hands. If you'd like to talk with us about your domestic violence case, there are a couple ways you can reach us to schedule a free phone consultation. The first way is to call the number on the screen, and the second way is to fill out a contact form on our website. Either way, we'd be glad to hear from you and talk with you, and we hope that you find this information helpful.